What's up, guys? It's Dark Gamers here. Today we're watching Hidden Azeroth channel Today we're watching the almost complete history of World of Warcraft by Hidden Azeroth. Now, I know I watched a few videos of World of Warcraft, so you would think I would have some knowledge of it, but I don't know how long ago I was watching those videos, like a year ago? You guys don't know me, but my memory is horrible, okay? I don't remember a single thing that they was talking about World of Warcraft. So yeah, I don't know nothing about this anymore. Whatever I learned in the past, it's completely gone. So let's watch this 23-minute video so I can get a bit of a recap of what happened, and then we'll go from there, see what to watch next. Now, if I remember correctly,
you want to know what's going on, or you're just trying to figure out which horde you're a part of.
Let me stop that. I don't remember nothing.
3 minutes. Way back at the start of the universe, there were Titans, which are gods born out of planets, kind of. The Titans formed a pantheon, which went around looking for more baby Titan planets called World Souls. One of these planets was named Azeroth, currently inhabited by a bunch of elementals. A mysterious group of beings who wanted to kill the pantheon, named the Void Lords, were also looking for World Souls and sent their servants, the Old Gods, to go find and corrupt them. Some Old Gods found Azeroth and started bleeding bugs on everything. The Pantheon eventually finds Azeroth too, and they start fighting everyone. First the Elementals, then the Old Gods. The Titans win, but they can't kill the Old Gods without killing Azeroth, so they build prisons instead. They leave behind a bunch of metal guys, and also some dragons to look after Azeroth and guard the prison in their absence. Off in another section of the universe, the Titan Sargeras learns the Old Gods could corrupt Titan planets and decides the only reasonable solution is to kill all life in the universe, so he starts building a massive army called the Burning Legion by corrupting inhabitants of Titan planets. The Pantheon isn't happy that all their planets are being corrupted, so they try to calm Sargeras down, telling him that the army is pointless because they found a World Soul strong enough to defeat the Void Lords.
He lost his mind.
Sargeras responds by killing the Pantheon and imprisoning their spirits, and sets out to find and destroy Azeroth, fearing what would happen if a Titan that powerful was corrupted. Unfortunately, Sargeras forgot to ask where Azeroth was first, so he has to start looking for it. Another powerful world soul is Argus, a planet inhabited by the Eridar, who are led by Archimonde, Kil'jaeden, and Velen. Sargeras wants to corrupt Argus and approaches the free rulers in disguise, offering them immense power with no strings attached. Archimonde and Kil'jaeden accept the power like suckers, and most of the Eridar get corrupted, but Velen realizes it's a trick and refuses. Velen prays for guidance, and a race of sentient chandeliers called Venaro hear him and send a spaceship, which Velen and the remaining uncorrupted Eridar use to flee Argus. The uncorrupted group changes their name to the Draenei, which means the exiled ones. Kil'jaeden is angry about their escape and vows to hunt them down. Sargeras corrupts the world soul of Argus and uses it to build a machine that lets him regenerate anyone in his army, making them effectively immortal. Meanwhile, back on Azeroth, the imprisoned Old Gods drive their guards crazy and make a curse that turns stuff into meat, meaning these guys turn into these guys. A big magic pool called the Well of Eternity that was left behind by the Titans starts hyper-evolving deer and squirrels into a race called Trolls. The Trolls dub themselves the Zandalari and form the Zandalari Empire, which has a strict caste system. The lowest caste decides that being in the lowest caste sucks and leaves to form their own empires. One of these empires settles by the Well of Eternity and evolve even further, transforming into elves.
He's just talking really fast.
Elves create the Kaldorei Empire, led by Queen Azara. They use the Well of Eternity to gain magical and technological superiority, allowing them to swiftly defeat the Zandalari and take over Kalimdor. The Kaldorai's excessive use of the Well of Eternity lets Sargeras magically access Azeroth, but he still has no idea where it is in physical space.
The one off of that little cinematic trailer?
Portals to invade. Since he needs a powerful mage
but I remember her.
Sargeras reaches out to Azara and offers her a place at his side. Azara agrees and uses Well of Eternity to summon a Burning Legion into Azeroth.
I think she's a little
the dragons
evil,
and an elf rebellion led by Skaranda Whisperwind and brothers Illidan and Malfurion Stormrage fight to stop Azara in the War of the Ancients. Attempting to gain power against the Legion, Illidan pretends to join Azara's forces. Sargeras is so grateful he stabs out Illidan's eyes and gives him cool demon vision. This allows Illidan to see the true power of a Burning Legion, and he begins to fear their defeat on Azeroth will ultimately be pointless. One of the 5 aspects, named Neltharion, is driven mad by the Old Gods, who convince him to steal the other aspect's powers by making a weapon called the Dragon Soul under the guise of fighting the Legion. Once the weapon is built, Neltharion blows everyone up with it. He changes his name to Deathling to show off how edgy and cool he is. Malfurion steals the Dragon Soul and hides it. Deathling is sealed in Deepholm, a big cave at the core of Azeroth. The Rebellion shuts down the portal and stops the Legion, but the Well of Eternity is destroyed in the process, which causes a big magical explosion called the Sundering that breaks Kalimdor into a bunch of little pieces. As the Kaldorei capital sinks into the ocean, the Old God N'Zoth turns Azara and her followers into fish. Obsessed with the power of a Nightwell and fearing another Legion invasion, Illidan uses waterweed stolen from the Well of Eternity to make a new well on Mount Hyjal. The other elves are angered by this and throw Illidan in jail for his actions. The remaining elves fight over whether to use the last of the well and break into 2 factions. The Night Elves stay on Kalimdor, and the Highborn travel to the Eastern Kingdoms and make a new font of magical energy called the Sunwell. They rename themselves to the High Elves. The children of some Vrykul and Northrend are being born mutated. These mutated children are ordered to be killed, but some are snuck to the eastern kingdoms instead. Here they form tribes and call themselves
Golly, they're
humans.
killing babies.
One group of humans called the Arafi tribe begins to unite the other groups under one banner, forming the Kingdom of Arafor. Eventually, the Kingdom of Arafor grows so large that several of its biggest cities declare independence and break off into the kingdoms of Gilneas, Alterac, Dalaran, Kultiras, Stormwind, and Lordaeron. The High Elves ally themselves with humans to fight the trolls living in the eastern kingdoms, while the Night Elves and Dragons fight the Old God bugs and lock them in the Titan prison of Ahn'Qiraj. The High Elves teach the humans magic, and some of the humans start to accidentally summon demons and elementals. To protect against the threats created by humans having magic, the leaders of Dalaran decide to give one human a whole bunch more magic. This person is called the Guardian, and they pass their power on to the next person the council chooses when they retire. Sargeras, who still has no idea where Azeroth is physically, is currently trying to open another portal to invade Faerû, but opening an army-sized portal requires a lot of magic, so Sargeras can only open a small portal and send a less powerful mini-version of himself called an Avatar Faerû. His avatar then proceeds to start eating dragons in order to gain more magic. But dragons aren't a fan of being eaten, so they ask the humans for help, and the humans send the current Guardian,
dragons.
Aegwynn,
Entire whole big dragons. How big is this dude?
The tomb of Sargeras, so it can't be resurrected. Unbeknownst to Aegwynn, a portion of Sargeras' soul powering the Avatar jumps into her when she kills it, and proceeds to hide there. Aegwynn decides that someone else getting to choose who gets her powers is lame, so she goes into hiding. Remember Velen and those goats on the spaceship that were fleeing the Legion? They just crashed onto a peaceful planet called Draenor and made friends with the Orcs, a race of shaman who are happy to share their planet. Everyone is friendly, and these two races are sure to be lifelong pals. Back on Azeroth, the dwarves are living inside a mountain when their king dies, and suddenly everyone wants to be the new leader. The War of the Three Hammers breaks out, and the dwarves split into the Bronzebeard, Darkiron, and Wildhammer clans. The Bronzebeards win and take over Ironforge. Angry over losing the war, the Darkirons try to summon elementals to kill the other clans, but they do too good a job and accidentally summon Ragnaros, the Fire Lord, who traps the Darkiron dwarves inside a Black Rock mountain and forces them to act as his slaves. Aegwynn is still in hiding and just had a child named Medivh. Unbeknownst to her, the latent fragments of Sargeras' soul jump into Medivh and hide him. In a stunning display of nepotism, Aegwynn gives her infant child the powers of a guardian. The human kingdom of Stormwind goes to war with the Gurubashi trolls. During a troll attack on Stormwind City, the now adult Medivh uses his powers as the guardian to obliterate the trolls and save the city. He's heralded as a hero and welcomed as the new guardian. Sargeras remains undiscovered inside of him. On Draenor, Kil'jaeden has tracked down Velen and the Draenei. He reaches out to an orc shaman named Gul'dan, offering him power if he helps turn the orcs against him. Gul'dan agrees and proceeds to frame the Draenei for attacks on orc villages. The orcs respond by banding together to stop the Draenei. Gul'dan forms a cool new group called the Horde, and the secret ingredient is fell magic. He convinces the Horde to drink the blood of the demon Manaroth, which has the side effect of turning their skin green and also enslaving them to the Legion. He installs a bloodthirsty Black Hand as a puppet war
so you become enslaved if you drink the juice?
The Draenei who flee into the forest
wherever the heck they drink.
Under War Chief Black Hand, the Horde is reckless and destructive. Quickly, they eat all the food on Draenor and need a new place to live. Sargeras sees this as an opportunity to have his avatar freed from the tomb and tells Gul'dan about a lush planet the Horde can invade called Azeroth. Back on Azeroth, Sargeras begins to corrupt Medivh from within, eventually convincing him to help Gul'dan open a dark portal, a massive gate that connects Azeroth to Draenor. The orcs pour through, marking the beginning of the First War. The First War rages on for 3 years between the Horde and the Kingdom of Stormwind, led by King Lane Wrynn. The Kingdom of Stormwind still believes Medivh is their ally, and he continues to act as the Guardian. An orc named Garona meets and befriends Medivh and his apprentice Khadgar. Garona abandons the Horde and sides with humans. Together, Khadgar and Garona discover that Medivh is responsible for opening the portal and team up with General Anduin Lothar to kill Medivh. Orgrim Doomhammer is upset by Black Hand's brutality towards his own soldiers and challenges him to a mock Garroth for leadership of the Horde. Orgrim wins and kills Black Hand. Garona returns to Stormwind to deliver her report of Medivh's death. While informing King Wrynn of the situation, Garona is possessed by Horde warlocks and assassinates the king against her will. Without its leader, Stormwind falls to the Horde, ending the First War. The survivors of Stormwind flee north to Lordaeron, where Anduin Lothar convinces the other kingdoms to assist. Together, they begin to plan a second war against the Horde and unite into the Alliance of Lordaeron. Meanwhile, Doomhammer's Horde marches north from Stormwind towards Ironforge to get resources. The Horde fights the dwarves and gnomes, leaving them trapped in their cities. The Horde continues north towards Lordaeron, but it's too well defended, so they head past it and poke at the High Elves and Quel'Thalas for a bit before turning around. Gul'dan betrays the Horde and leaves for the tomb of Sargeras with some soldiers. Then he betrays Sargeras and ignores orders to open a portal, instead planning to steal the power of the tomb for himself. Sargeras doesn't like being betrayed, so demons eat Gul'dan. Orgrim Doomhammer is unaware of Gul'dan's desertion and begins a siege of Lordaeron. Originally successful, Doomhammer had been counting on Gul'dan's forces to bolster the assault, and when he learns they have abandoned the Horde, he's forced to undergo an incredibly costly retreat to Black Rock Mountain. Unaware that Gul'dan is already dead, Doomhammer dispatches the sons of a former war chief Black Hand, Dalrend and Maim, along with a contingent of orcs to slay Gul'dan. The pursuing human forces free the besieged dwarves and gnomes, who pledge their service to the Alliance. The severely weakened Horde makes their final stand at Black Rock Mountain. Orgrim Doomhammer kills Anduin Lothar to break the human spirits, only for him to be replaced by the paladin Turalyon, who captures Doomhammer and rallies the Alliance into pushing the Horde back through the dark portal.
I don't care if the humans win. I've never been a big fan of humans.
And Draenor and ending the Second War.
If there's ever another race that's similar to humans, like
after the Alliance
I can stand and walk and got,
fortifying the key
attackers,
they create the
human type intelligence, I'm always with them.
Dragons. The victorious Alliance rebuilds Stormwind, naming the adolescent son of Lane Wrynn, Varian, as king. The Alliance also puts the orcs they captured into internment camps. Orgrim himself is sent to one such camp. The High Elves, feeling that the protection of Lordaeron was prioritized over their capital, Quel'Thalas, leave the Alliance. Back on Draenor, the orc shaman Ner'zhul finds himself leading the remnants of the Horde on a still dying world. He plans to open portals to other planets to plunder their resources because it worked so well last time, but to do this, he needs to steal magical artifacts from Azeroth, so he reopens the Dark Portal, great work Khadgar, and sends a small group of soldiers through to retrieve the artifacts. They succeed, but the Alliance decides to go on the offensive, electing to send a group of soldiers led by Turalyon, Khadgar, and some other people into the Dark Portal in order to end the Horde once and for all. Corrupted by the power of the artifacts, Ner'zhul opens a massive number of portals at once, tearing apart the fabric of Draenor and abandoning the Horde. The planet is destroyed and pulled into the twisting Never, forming a floating landmass called the Outlands. In order to save Azeroth from the might of the now stranded Horde, Khadgar collapses the Dark Portal, trapping himself and the Alliance expedition in the Outlands. Presumed dead, statues of the leaders of the expedition are erected in the newly rebuilt Stormwind. Angered by Ner'zhul's betrayal of the Horde, Kil'jaeden turns him into an evil hat and a sword called Frostworm that have the power to raise the dead. Then he drops him on Azeroth
that's from the
to
trailer.
the human kingdoms in preparation for a Legion invasion. He also gives Ner'zhul a few demons called Dreadlords to help speed things along. In the Orcish internment camps, a young orc named Thrall befriends Doomhammer, and together they rally...
Wait. I'm sorry I'm pausing. This mess is long as crap. I shouldn't be pausing it. I'm gonna have to rewatch this, to be honest. This man talking fast. I'm gonna rewatch it so I make sure I understand everything before I continue my reactions. But just so I'm clear, the helmet and the sword allows you to raise the dead. That sounds freaking amazing. I know this is based off of the game. Can you actually get those weapons? There's no way. Probably like a boss or something. I'm not gonna lie. The trailer that we saw earlier or before, when that dude had that helmet and sword, that mess was so freaking cool looking. So I'm guessing whenever you put on that mess, it like changes you, become a bit more evil, and you also get the power to raise the dead or whatever. I'm sorry, something about that is just so freaking cool. That's so cool.
Orcs into rebellion and escape the camps. They build a cool new horde, and the secret ingredient is friendship, but Orgrim is killed, naming Thrall the new war chief. Thrall leads the orcs to the lost continent of Kalimdor in order to escape the humans. During the voyage, they meet with the Darkspear trolls and the Tauren, both of whom join the
this
horde.
is a game. I hope that those weapons
King has had a few years to get ready, and he's starting to build a following. He needs powerful magic.
I hope you can become a Lich King. That's what it's called, right?
Wizard Kel'Thuzad, and together they make a plague.
You become the Lich King when you put that on?
Zombies. They release it into the northern cities of Lordaeron via infected grain, and the Third War begins. King Taranis Menethil of Lordaeron hears rumors of a plague to the north and sends his son Arthas and the mage Jaina Proudmoore to investigate.
I'm sorry, there's a bug flying around.
Has poisoned a recent grain delivery to the bustling city of Stratholme with a plague. Arthas kills Kel'Thuzad and they head to Stratholme to stop a grain shipment. The duo is too late to stop the townsfolk from eating the grain, and with no cure for the plague, Arthas decides to kill the infected before they're turned into mindless undead. Jaina is aghast and abandons Arthas. Arthas purges the city and meets the Dreadlord Mal'Ganis, who taunts the prince, telling him to find him in Northrend. Arthas becomes obsessed with taking revenge on Mal'Ganis and follows him to Northrend, discovering the sword Frostmourne along the way. The sword consumes his soul, and Arthas is corrupted by the will of the Lich King, becoming an undead soldier called a Death Knight. Now minion of the Lich King, Arthas returns to Lordaeron and murders his father, King Taranis Menethil, while his forces destroy the city. The Lich King still needs Kel'Thuzad to summon Archimon, and he orders Arthas to stuff the dead wizard chunks in a jar. In order to raise Kel'Thuzad as a Lich, Arthas needs the power of the Sunwell, so he marches his forces north to Kel'Thalas. Along the way, he captures the Ranger General of Silvermoon, Sylvanas Windrunner.
There she is. Sylvanas? That's her name?
Scourge Storm Silvermoon and slaughter the High Elves, raising Kel'Thuzad as a Lich and corrupting the Sunwell.
Wait, I need to go back. What
Kel'Thalas. Along the way, he captures the Ranger General of Silvermoon, Sylvanas Windrunner, who he kills and raises as a Banshee. The Scourge Storm Silvermoon.
Oh, okay. So she's a Banshee. I forgot about it. I remember that. I remember they're calling her a Banshee. So basically, he killed her and raised her as a Banshee. That's why she's purple and has all these different powers. And what was she, an elf before? She's cool as crap. And sexy.
And slaughter the High Elves, raising Kel'Thuzad as a Lich and corrupting the Sunwell in the process. With Kel'Thuzad resurrected, the Scourge returns south and raid the city of Dalaran for a magic book. Once they have it, Kel'Thuzad summons Archimon, who builds a sandcastle and punches it, which destroys Dalaran. Remember that second Well of Eternity Illidan made in Hyjal? Archimon needs it to summon the Legion, so he and the gang head west to Kalimdor. Also, a big tree called the World Tree grew in it, and it made the elves immortal. Jaina and Thrall are both met by the ghost of Medivh, who says they need to stop Archimon at Mount Hyjal or Azeroth will be destroyed. Jaina leads the Alliance to Kalimdor. On Kalimdor, the spooky Medivh ghost meets Jaina and Thrall again and tells them that the Alliance and Horde need to work together. But one group of orcs under Grommash Hellscream gets tricked by Manaroth into drinking more demon blood and become servants of a burning legion again. Jaina frees Grom, who kills Manaroth, freeing the orcs but killing himself in the process. The Night Elves find out that the Legion is invading again and join the fight. Tyrande, now the leader of the Night Elves, orders Illidan to be released from jail to help fight demons. Illidan promises he's done consuming demonic power to stop the Legion. Illidan then promptly consumes more demonic power to stop the Legion, eating the skull of Gul'dan and using the powers to blow up a Dreadlord. Tyrande and Malfurion are furious and banish Illidan, who runs off and sulks. The Ghost of Medivh tells everyone that he's manifesting because he feels bad for opening the Dark Portal and wants to fix his mistake. The three armies pledge to stop the Legion and build a series of base camps in Mount Hyjal to prevent Archimonde from reaching the well. Archimonde completely bulldozes through these base camps and reaches the well, so the ancient spirits of the Night Elves, called Wisps, turn themselves into a bomb and blow Archimonde and his army up. They also accidentally blow up a world tree, so the Night Elves stop being immortal, but at least the Third War is over. Thrall heads south into the deserts of Kalimdor and founds the Horde capital of Orgrimmar, named after Orgrim Doomhammer. In the ruins of Kel'Thas, Prince Calphas Sunstrider destroys the Sunwell so it doesn't corrupt his people. Without the Sunwell, the High Elves go into magic withdrawal, and most rename themselves to the Blood Elves. About 10% continue to call themselves High Elves and break off to rejoin the Alliance. This schism becomes the single largest point of contention among the WoW player base. Illidan, still angry about being accused of serving demons, agrees to serve Kil'jaeden by hunting down and killing the Lich King, who's gone rogue. He teams up with some Naga and Prince Calphas and casts a spell which severely injures the Lich King. Ner'zhul the Hat realizes that unless someone puts him on, he will die from his injuries, so he recalls Arthas to Northrend. The Alliance rallies under Grand Marshal Garithos to push the undead out of the ruins of the Kingdom of Lordaeron, now called the Plaguelands. Due to the Lich King being weakened, Sylvanas breaks free from his control and works alongside them to retake the capital city. However, once the Scourge is defeated, she turns on her living allies and slays them. Claiming Lordaeron for herself, she unites the undead freed from the Lich King's control into the Forsaken. Arthas leaves Kel'Thuzad to command the remaining Scourge in the Plaguelands and returns to Northrend. Illidan battles Arthas in a final attempt to prevent him from saving the Lich King, but Arthas wins and puts on the hat, merging his soul with Ner'zhul and being frozen in a block of ice. Illidan retreats through a portal to the Outlands with Calphas and some of the Naga. Fearing the Alliance will attempt to retake Lordaeron from her, Sylvanas and the Forsaken join the Horde, hoping their military might will deter the Alliance. The Horde now consists of Orcs, Tauren, Trolls, and Forsaken. With the loss of Lordaeron, the recently rebuilt city of Stormwind becomes the new seat of the Alliance, which consists of humans, dwarves, gnomes, Night Elves, and a few remaining High Elves. The city of Dalaran gets rebuilt and they put it under a dome. A Night Elf named Fandral Staghelm decides to grow a new world tree called Teldrassil so the Night Elves can keep being immortal. It doesn't work, but the Night Elves decide to live on it anyway. While traveling to a diplomatic meeting with the Horde, King Varian Wrynn is kidnapped. His 10-year-old son Anduin is named leader of Stormwind, with Bolvar Fordragon acting as regent lord. This marks the beginning of World of Warcraft. The armies of the Horde and Alliance have been greatly weakened by the Third War, so both factions begin to recruit new soldiers from among their citizens to depopulate the local wildlife. These citizens become known as the Champions of Azeroth and are the player characters in WoW. In Blackrock Mountain, Ragnaros starts summoning elementals, so the champions of the Horde and Alliance banish him back to the Firelands. Then they go upstairs and kill Rend Blackhand. On Kalimdor, Cthulhu and all the bugs break out of jail, so the Alliance and Horde build a stick and use it to break into bug jail to kill Cthulhu. We can kill old gods, but the Titans can't, because reasons. Off in the Outlands, Illidan and Calphas steal a floating chandelier ship called Tempest Keep. Velen and the surviving Draenei steal a piece of it and fly off into space. Kel'Thuzad builds a big floating box called Naxxramas that he's ruling the Plaguelands from. The champions of Azeroth break in and kill him. The remaining demons in the Outlands reopen the Dark Portal in order to invade Azeroth. They are beaten up immediately, and Azeroth decides to invade the Outlands to teach them a lesson. This marks the beginning of the Burning Crusade. Calphas discovers that Fel energy is a substitute for his Sunwell and joins the Legion. Blood Elves start doing Fel magic and their eyes turn green. Some are upset about this and join the Horde. The rest continue to follow Calphas. The Draenei crash land on Azeroth and join the Alliance because it's the side that doesn't have orcs. The Alliance find Khadgar, Círdan, and Trollbane alive and operating in the Outlands. Illyria Windrunner and General Turalyon are still missing. Thrall meets Garrosh Hellscream, the son who Grommash Hellscream left behind on Draenor. The two become friends and Garrosh joins the Horde. The champions of Azeroth beat up Illidan and send him to jail. Then we beat up Calphas and he gets really big and dies. Calphas gets resurrected with Fel magic and decides to use the Sunwell to summon Kil'jaeden to Azeroth. The Alliance and Horde lay siege to the Sunwell, killing Calphas again and stopping Kil'jaeden before he can enter Azeroth. Velen purifies the Sunwell by throwing a dead chandelier into it so Blood Elves don't die of withdrawal. This marks the end of a Burning Crusade. In Northrend, Malygos gets mad about how much magic people are using and decides no more magic for anyone. He begins to slurp up all the magic on Azeroth, which angers the Kirin Tor of Dalaran, since without magic, wizards are just frail nerds. They teleport Dalaran to the skies above Northrend and team up with the other dragon aspects in order to fight Malygos. Varian Wrynn is rescued and returns to Stormwind to take his place as High King of the Alliance. The new and improved Lich King Arthas wakes up and decides to conquer Azeroth. He sends infected grain to the capital cities of the Alliance and Horde, which kills some citizens but mostly just angers the two factions, who team up and send an expedition to Northrend to stop the Lich King. They're joined by the Argent Crusade, a group of paladins devoted to stopping the undead. Some of Arthas' Death Knights rebel and join the Alliance and Horde. The Lich King resurrects Kel'Thuzad again and moves Naxxramas to Northrend in order to fight the Argent Crusade. Kel'Thuzad is killed almost immediately. Also, the dragons kill Malygos, so he stops eating all the magic, and another dragon named Klekos replaces him as the Aspect. Some of the Forsaken betray everyone and release a plague on a bunch of Alliance and Horde soldiers, including Bolvar Fordragon. Alexstrasza tries to save him by setting him on fire, with questionable results. Yogg-Saron wakes up inside of Ulduar, so the champions of Azeroth kill him before he drives everyone insane. The Argent Crusade hosts a big joust to decide who gets to kill the Lich King. The winners get to storm Icecrown Citadel. It's discovered that the charred but still alive Bolvar is being held by Arthas. Led by the High Lord of the Argent Crusade, Tyrion Fordring, the best jousters in Azeroth march on Icecrown Citadel and kill the Lich King, shattering Frostmourne in the process. The spirit of King Tyrannus Menethil is released from Frostmourne and tells Tyrion that someone needs to put on the evil hat or the undead will start killing everyone. The walking charcoal pretend that it's Bolvar calls dibs and
if someone once you raise the undead, they can't be, once you kill the Lich King or beat him or whatever, they don't just go away. I'm guessing that was just roaming without any type of control or order because they killed the Lich King, and now someone needs to put the helmet on, become the Lich King, so they can keep him under control or put him back to sleep or whatever the heck they were doing with the undead at first.
New Lich King, getting frozen in a block of ice. The War of the Lich King ends. Remember Deathwing? The old gods have been whispering to him for 10,000 years, so he's even crazier than before, and he just woke up on the wrong side of a bed and broke out a deep home, blowing up a lot of Azeroth in the process. Now everything is on fire, and Fantasy Utah got flooded. The king of the dwarves, Magni Bronzebeard, tries to research how to stop Deathwing from blowing up Azeroth and accidentally turns himself into a giant diamond. Now Ironforge doesn't have a king, and the free dwarf clans fight over who should lead. They wind up deciding to just make a council. Gilneas gets overrun by a furry convention, and the Forsaken invade and try to plague them. The Alliance shows up to help, but Sylvanas destroys Gilneas anyway. The wolves want revenge, so they rejoin the Alliance. A bunch of goblins that live on an island almost die in a storm, but Thrall saves them, so they join the Horde. The dragon aspects team up to stop Deathwing, but they can't form Captain Planet without the aspect of rocks, so they recruit Thrall because he's good at talking to rocks. This means Thrall has to retire from the Horde, so he appoints Garrosh as the new war chief. Deathwing decides he isn't burning things fast enough, so he summons Ragnaros, who has legs now. The druids storm into the Firelands to keep Ragnaros from burning down their trees and kill him for real this time. The aspects realize they can't stop Deathwing without using the Dragon Soul, so Nosdormu goes back in time and steals it. Then Thrall blows him up. Using the Dragon Soul to blow up Deathwing used up all the Dragon aspects' power, so they aren't as powerful anymore. The Cataclysm ends.
Whoa!
Garrosh likes war, so he decides to start one by blowing up the Alliance city of Faramore. Jaina goes crazy and most of her hair turns white. Anduin is on a boat that gets chased by the Horde and crash lands on an uncharted island called Pandaria, a mystical land inhabited by talking pandas.
Oh yeah, Kung Fu Panda, I remember that.
Horde, they need to stop fighting or wake up the angry old god spirit that haunts their land. The two factions proceed to fight even harder, and the old gods start corrupting everything. Anduin asks Garrosh to help him save Pandaria. Garrosh responds by dropping a bell on him. Some of the Horde leaders get upset with Garrosh for declaring war on literally everything, so Garrosh declares war on them and forms a new Horde, and the secret ingredient is racism. The rest of the Horde splits off under the troll Vol'jin. Garrosh sees how powerful the old god spirits are and decides he wants to eat one. He starts researching how, and learns that the heart of the old god is buried in a sacred Pandaren mountain. He digs up the heart and throws it in a lake, corrupting all of Pandaria. At this point, Garrosh has declared war on literally every major faction, all of whom team up and storm Orgrimmar to kill him. Garrosh's horde is defeated and Garrosh is captured and put on trial for setting the world record for most war crimes, ending Mists of Pandaria. While on trial, Garrosh escapes with the help of an evil bronze dragon and goes back in time to Draenor before the first horde drinks the blood of Manoroth. Luckily for this video, going back in time creates a little pocket dimension instead of rewriting the entire history of WoW. In this pocket dimension, Garrosh tells his dad that drinking the blood will enslave the Horde of the Legion, so they kill Manoroth, capture Gul'dan, and form a cool new Iron Horde, and the secret ingredient is Goblin technology. They still decide to invade Azeroth though, so they build a new dark portal and plug Gul'dan into it like a 9-volt battery. Somehow, this allows their portal to hijack into our portal, and suddenly the Iron Horde is pouring into present-day Azeroth. The Alliance and Horde team up with Khadgar, a resident expert at closing the Dark Portal, and send a strike force called the Iron Vanguard through the portal to turn it off. They do this by unplugging Gul'dan and just letting him walk away for some reason. Then, since people keep reopening these things, we blow up the portal with a cannon. The Iron Vanguard goes around killing the various warlords of the clans. Thrall challenges Garrosh to an honorable orc duel, but then he loses, so he just kills him with lightning instead. Without 90% of its leadership, the Iron Horde gets absolutely bulldozed, at which point Gul'dan shows up with a cooler of that tasty demon blood, and the Iron Horde orcs all join the Legion anyway. Gul'dan summons Archimonde, who's still alive because it turns out that the demons that have been getting killed have to be killed in the Twisting Never, their souls just go back to Argus and reform. Also, this is the same Archimonde that fought in the Third War, because despite this being a pocket dimension, there's only one burning Legion somehow. Look, WoD is a really confusing expansion. Anyway, the Iron Vanguard teams up with remains of the uncorrupted Iron Horde, because apparently war crimes are okay if other people commit more war crimes. They kill Archimonde for real this time, but not before he picks up Gul'dan and throws him into space. The Iron Vanguard declares victory and goes home, ending the world.
Sorry.
Also, this is the same Archimonde that fought in the Third War, because despite this being a pocket dimension, there's only one burning Legion somehow. Look, WoD is a really confusing expansion. Anyway, the Iron Vanguard teams up with remains of the uncorrupted Iron Horde, because apparently war crimes are okay if other people commit more war crimes. They kill Archimonde for real this time, but not before he picks up Gul'dan and throws him into space. The Iron Vanguard declares victory and goes home, ending the warlords of Draenor. The Burning Legion sends alternate universe Gul'dan to Azeroth in order to open the tomb of Sargeras and let the Legion invade, and this time he actually does it. He also steals Illidan's unconscious body from jail to use as a vessel for Sargeras. The Alliance and Horde team up to stop the Burning Legion once and for all in a broken shore, and they get absolutely obliterated. Tyrion gets melted, Vol'jin is murked by a random demon, and Varian gets disenchanted by Gul'dan. For reasons unclear to everyone, including Vol'jin, he decides Sylvanas should be the next war chief and then promptly dies. Anduin is now High King of the Alliance and also kinda hot. Remember that Dwarf King who got turned into a rock? He woke up and he can talk to Azeroth now. Also, a fat goat turns Ysera crazy, so the Champions of Azeroth kill her. Lich King Bolvar wakes up and he starts making Death Knights to fight the Legion. Also, he's on our side now. The Legion is still primarily located on the Broken Isle, so Khadgar teleports Dalaran there to fight them. The Alliance and Horde free Illidan, who disenchants Gul'dan. The Burning Legion is starting to lose, so Kil'jaeden plans to use the Tomb of Sargeras to make an even bigger portal so the Legion can bring more troops from Argus, but we storm the tomb and kill him first. For real this time. Illidan then opens the portal anyway, because he wants to fight more demons. The armies of Azeroth all pile onto a spaceship and fly to the planet Argus to kill the Titan Argus. They find Illyria and Turalyon, who are on a space crusade. The gang finds out that Sargeras is holding the souls of the Titan Pantheon prisoner and free them. Then they kill Argus, which means the demons can't respawn anymore. Meanwhile, Sargeras finally has a portal big enough to pass through, so he heads to Azeroth to destroy it. The Pantheon stops him and puts him in Bad Titan jail, but not before Sargeras impales his sword into Azeroth in a last-ditch effort to kill the World Soul. The Legion is defeated and Illidan stays behind to bully Sargeras. Back on Azeroth, the Titan World Soul is bleeding to death because it has a big sword stuck in it. The blood is good at making bombs, so everybody wants it. Sylvanas is angry when an elf was mean to her, so she burns down Teldrassil. The Alliance retaliates by storming Lordaeron, so Sylvanas blows it up. Anduin captures High Overlord Saurfang, who feels bad about burning down a tree full of defenseless civilians. The Champions of Azeroth get a fantasy phone call from Magni. Azeroth is going to die unless they cram a lot of her blood into a magic necklace, so they start doing that. The Alliance and Horde go to Kultiras and Zandalar because they need boats. Saurfang still feels bad about committing genocide, so Anduin lets him go. Saurfang rallies the rest of the Horde behind him because they also feel bad about committing genocide. Saurfang and his no-genocide Horde team up with the Alliance and go to Orgrimmar to stop Sylvanas and her pro-genocide Horde. Saurfang decides in the last minute to challenge Sylvanas to an honorable orc duel instead, and Sylvanas agrees. Saurfang is about to win, so Sylvanas just insta-kills him and tells the Horde she never liked him anyway and flies off. Everyone feels bad, but her pro-genocide Horde's mom just left, so they forgive them for all the genocide immediately and before 4 ends. Things are starting to wind down when the Champions of Azeroth accidentally set N'Zoth free because a knife tells them to. Then they kill him with a magic necklace and nothing of consequence changes. Sylvanas flies to Icecrown Citadel, beats up Lich King Bolvar and steals his hat. Then she breaks it, which makes the sky explode and also probably kills Ner'zhul. Now the afterlife is connected to regular life, which is bad, so everyone's about to kill themselves in order to beat up the Grim Reaper. And that's the history of WoW.
Wow. Yo. That was a lot. Oh my goodness, that was a lot. I'm pretty sure I said that the other times I reacted to this mess. It's so much. It's so much. A lot of it was very familiar, for sure. I don't know how much freaking mess I need to watch to fully understand World of Warcraft, but it seems like a lot because there's a freaking lot to watch, man. There's so much history and lore to this mess, but whatever the heck, as I learn through the lore of this mess, as I learn more about it, I'm telling you right now, Sylvanas is always gonna be my favorite. I'm letting you know. Because she okay, I know it's kind of off topic, but I was thinking about it when I was talking about genocide, pro-genocide and whatnot. Y'all seen you know what, let me stop. I was about to say Attack on Titan, but I'm gonna end up spoiling something if I keep talking. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and if you want me to react to a certain video, leave a link down below so I know what it is that you want me to react to. I don't have to just go searching for something. If you just leave the name, just type in the name, react to this, I won't know what the heck you're talking about, and I'm end up probably reacting to the wrong thing. So leave a link to whatever you want me to react to. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later. Bye.